very clammy hands right now. Hey, Hyro. No thank you. I'm being real picky and choosy right now. Fine, we'll help this dude. Sure, that's what they all say. I've said that to you before, Hyro. Stench. You smell that? Well, Hyro, since you can't play online, practice doing stuff solo. Or go to bed like you should be doing. Go away, Dodger Rockets. Oh, sharpshooter is so useful. Not really. Oh my. Slid right into it. Oh, I dodged backwards. Should have dodged to the side. What? Did anybody bring traps? Because I totally forgot. I didn't even realize it was a capture mission until I looked at the upper right hand corner when he was limping. Oh, that's a good end screen. Good old garbage face stones. Also, the reason why I wasn't doing 100 damage a hit is because Anjanath is resistant to fire, and gunlance shelling does partial fire damage. So it does more damage to things that are weak against fire. But it is not entirely fire damage. Most of it's like armor penetrating, meaning it ignores whatever the monster's resistances are. Everyone's doing this shit. Like, what the hell? Why is there so many people doing? It's just, and it, like, the problem with Monster Hunter queuing is it shows you things that have already been filled up, like, ages ago. So it's like half of the time you want to do something, you don't even know. So you just gotta fucking hope. This is why I stopped doing tempered SOS, because this is what it is. Bwah, 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 bwah. And it constantly flashes the blue thing on the screen for a half a second, because it puts up that message. It's so stupid. I hate it so much. Is it gonna let me in? I'm gonna be the last person. You watch. See? I'm green. Oh shit, you know what I should have gone with? The Rathalos Kolve Taroth one. Because that one does inherent fire damage. And this does blast, which is nearly useless against Valhazak. So I'll swap to it the second I get in. Come on, we can load faster than this. Hey, Gazpacho. I like your gas. You got good gas. Okay. I was like, is anyone gonna attack this, or are we just gonna walk with the monster? Fuck. Holy shit. How are those guys not getting hit? This game is so fucking bullshit. Just dance and not get hit because your fucking hitbox is so fucking stupid. Meanwhile, guy with shield can't block attack because no animation in the game lets him do that with the weapon with the giant shield. Fuck, I forgot to quick reload. Hyro, why are you always trying to chat up the other people? Ricky's normally always lurking. I sometimes forget to even say hi to him, so. But then again, I think a lot of things that I don't say, and I try to get better at not doing that. I'll like look over and think something about something someone said, and then I'll like ignore a previous message that was left. What? Motherfucker. Motherfucking fucker. Some people just like to lurk, man. Was that because you already talked to me too much, Hyro? Huh? Got him. What? Just say more messages, Hyro. I'm getting better at reading stuff from top to bottom and not bottom up. Lucky boy. Headshot. You got destroyed. Damn it. More Garbo. Support All-Star. I used my affinity boost. I used my boosters once. Yeah, I get a lot of it. I get a lot of stuff. Get used to seeing that kind of luck, but not getting any good gems. I just want to see how fast I can do it. The game gives you gems once you don't need them. See, I told you, Hiram, my inventory is always crazy. Oh yeah. I wasn't lying the other day when I told you I had 500 parts of Nergigante. Look at that. 51, motherfucker. 51. You ain't even seen gems. Except I don't have any. I just have a lot of monster parts. And I don't even loot half of the monsters anymore. I've been playing with Hyro recently, and half of the monsters I don't even loot, and I still have excess monster parts. Except low rank monster parts. I have nothing to gain from it. What's the point? Snot. You fucking snot, mate. Nice try, mate, but I'm the fucking best. You butterball biscuit. You fucking Pillsbury Doughboy. Have you met my friend Hyro? He looks kinda like you. All gassy. Barnble fucks. Fuck! I pressed circle too early. Son of a turd nugget. Well. Goodness. How was I in the water and not taking damage? No, I didn't want to do that. I don't know how I did that little jump. Oh, because there was a slope there. That's how. Oh, come on. My stake was on him. No, I didn't mean to do that. Yes. You bitch. Eat my load. Oh yeah, you liked my load. Is that? That gem is the color that it can be if it's an artillery jewel, a true shot, or my favorite, an iron wall gem. Is it our first? I want to fucking just blow this game up. All the hype for nothing. Friendship. Oh, it's magic. You know. Never believe it, I know. It's magic. You know. Voice cracks believe it's not so. It's tragic, you know. Ear fingers. Oopsies. Ear fingers. It sounds like something that could be like so potentially funny. Oh, it's magic. First off, let's get all this stuff. Let's get it raw. Let's get it raw. I want to remove all the... It's gonna be a little while. Oops. No! Oh yeah, that's right, you gotta start from the bottom of the list. I forgot. Just do it from here. I wish the menus were faster. The menus are limited by the speed of that little green scout fly thing. Hyro knows how fast I can mash. He literally cannot beat me at the arm wrestling game. Cannot. He never beat me one time. There's one time he tied me when I was pressing the button like a normie. Like I am now. I'm just normie pressing. This is your fastest mash, Hyro, and it's like my normie press. I'm just pressing the normie buttons. You know what I mean, dude? This is how you mash. And then this is me mashing. Had to get my thumb in the right spot. You mash like baby boy. Still missing so many of them. He's hacking. He's hacking his body to be faster. No human being could possibly be that fast. What is this? What? Man, there's no good, like, fire-resistant gloves. I really don't want to use those. Oh, wait. That's right. No point in using Dante's leggings anymore now that the Empress Greaves exist. Because they're just better armor-wise. See, Hyra, I only have one handicraft jewel. Handicraft. Only one. Excuse me. Jumping jewel. Jump for joy. Critical. Critical. And you know what? You want to know what? Just in case I have to. I've never actually used Dragon-Proof Mantle for the sake of powering up my dragon weapon. I wonder how much it actually gives, is the question. Let's find out. Pyro can't mash fast, though. He says he mashes good. It's like that episode of Regular Show where Rigby tries to show that closing his eyes and just moving the analog sticks in a bunch of different directions is good. Hyro is like a caveman who got hold of a controller that somehow a guy was like testing a time travel device, but he didn't want it through himself, so he had like a PS4 controller or something sitting around, and he threw it through, and Hyro like picked it up and he was like, ugh. And then the guy actually came through the teleporter the next time because he wanted to test it himself. And then Hyro beat up the guy and stole his clothes and then became a part of normal society. He still hasn't learned how to use the controller properly. Every single time he picks up a controller, he holds it upside down. And his brother Joffrey has to come and correct it for him. Joffrey. E. Good job. I just feel like a goober. It just sets it to max. Which I mean is cool, but this thing's max is fairly low, so it's almost useless. Son of a bitch, I didn't even bother to dodge because I didn't think it was gonna hit me. Horse shit. Okay, back to flash pods not working again. Okay, but that worked. Why didn't it do the circle combo? I don't fucking know. Nobody fucking knows. Smoke a dong. Oh, you gotta be fucking flabbergasting my Rhaenys right now. Yep. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, that's right. You're already dead. You were already dead. Ding. I don't know why I'm cutting it, but might as well for the tells. And eat my cashews. Nuts. Love me some nuts. I love me a good nut. A load of nuts, if you know what I mean. Big ol' load. Whoa. Whoa. Why do you gotta land like a loser, character? Why can't you land like a winner? Like this. Didn't want that, but okay. I wish they didn't sell nuts in little sleeves. Why can't they sell nuts in big bags? You know what I mean? I like my nuts in bags. My favorite type of bag for a nut to come in is a sack. You know what I mean? Good old nut sack. Is that not everyone's favorite type of way to enjoy a good nut? Is in a sack, dude. I'm sorry, I'm just... Stop being gay, dude. You're so gay. What? I like my mixed nuts to come in sacks. Gosh. So rude. Nuggets. Big old niggity nugget. Well, that sounded wrong. I didn't mean for that to sound like that. I was just trying to, like, come up with something. Honestly, I don't care how it sounds. I just like chicken nuggets. See, that's what happens when I just say dumb shit that's on my brain. I say something without thinking about it and going like, oh yeah, that could be like misconceived as something else. Even though I'm just like saying it as a word because it sounds rhythmy. It's why giggity is a thing. What the fuck, analog stick? It's like causing me to hop constantly. You betrayed me, analog stick. Betrayed! Fuck. Whoa. Ah, you missed. The art of war is to stand completely still. Oh my god. You know, that would have all been avoided had I not got that as my mantle. And if the stupid fucking boss or whatever was causing my fucking thing to keep jumping back and forth, because I had to like slam my analog stick to get it to fucking stop. Turn, motherfucker! Do a Yui! Yeah, I have myriad attacks too, bitch. I'm using sword and shield. I don't even need buffs. You want to see how lame this can be, motherfucker? With max evade extender. You want to get fucked, Rathalos? You want to get fucked? Is that what you want? This is what you wanted. This is what you asked for. Get back down here, you little fucking bitch. Where you running? I can run faster. Wherever you go, I go. You might be turtle, but I am a fucking racing snail. Dustin, you got I got Magdaro gem, Dustin. Sorry, I was reading your stuff, Ira. I just wasn't saying anything to it. Cause I kept talking about nuts because I was eating cashews. And yes, I read the Zora Magdaros part. Again, I just didn't respond to it. Congrats, though, man. I have, like, multiple of them, though. You need to get more. More. I know you do. You should have went to our... you should have went to hour a bed ago. That's how language... You should have went to bed an hour ago, you goober. Goobermish. Let's see what we got this time. What am I gonna get? What am I gonna get? 2 warp face stones. RNG. What am I gonna get? And we got a critical or weakness. Whatever the fuck color gem that is. I think that's a blast attack gem. Yeah. Oh, critical draw. Well, that's an even rarer one. I already have 3 of those, though. Whoa. Nudity nugget. What the fuck? Nuggety nugget. I'll just say that. I wish there were more scat artists that exists. We need more skibidi-bop-bada-bop, bop-bada-bop, and the such. Maybe I'll be the next scat man. I like the way that in some of the band Korn, back when they used to make actual like metal and stuff like that, and not whatever stuff they're making now. Well, actually they started making metal again, but it's like, I mean, it's good, but it's not, I still don't think it compares to their older stuff, but it's not bad. Anyways, he used to have some songs that had like some weird it wasn't like scat, I can't remember what it was actually called, but it was similar to it, where he was like boom, or not boom, like boom, and like making all these like really cool like throat noises and shit. I've always wanted to do something like that. I used to like sing that song alongside it, which is why I can sort of impersonate it. I used to just do that shit for fun. I even used to consider uploading a cappella or just like my own vocal redux of something on YouTube back before I actually started doing anything on YouTube, and this was back in like 2008 and 9 when I was younger. Just because half of the time when I was playing World of Warcraft, that's what I'd do when I wasn't talking to anyone on Vent or something. I was just sitting there playing by myself. I'd just be singing along to whatever music I was listening to. And friends or people that I would have come over, or my parents would always say that I sounded like the thing that I was listening to. It's sort of how I got good at impersonating stuff. Certain things. Again, like, I can impersonate very specific, like, types of things, but then when I try to, like, do, like, a full sentence on my own of it, for whatever reason, I just can't, like, stick to that. But I think that's because when you impersonate something, you can keep adjusting your vocal cords until you get to that, like, perfect thing for each individual sound. And that's normally what impersonators do. And that's why there's a difference between an impersonator and an impressionist. I can impersonate someone, I can't make like an impression of them, where like I'm speaking as them, saying a different sentence sort of thing. The only thing I can do is a very terrible Russian accent, which sometimes slips into other kind of accent, but then I pull it back to Russian because Russian heritage is very strong. I don't know why that's one of the only accents I can do, but it is. I don't know, I think music generally nowadays has become very stale. Like the stuff I used to listen to versus the stuff people always show me nowadays. And I'm like, but this has already been done, and it was like 3 times the more intensity from the artist because they were like on drugs when they did it. And I'm not necessarily saying that's a good thing, but definitely made for more intense music. I even agree with a lot of like Jonathan Davis's stuff that he said in his music, in a sense of like how he was super Christian and then he like stopped smoking weed and all of that shit because of religion and all that garbage, and I just thought that was total like baloney. But I mean, whatever makes you happy. I'm not gonna tell him that he's wrong for doing it. You do whatever you want to do. I just like the more expressive type of music that it used to be. Expressive from all of the people in the band, not just one person like trying to get other people to express themselves more because they've now been rich for a while and haven't had, or not rich, but more well off than a lot of other people would be because they were a really, really successful artist. Artists. Group of artists. Band. Only reason I'm not being loud and like doing the music stuff now is because my neighbors would think I'm fucking insane. Standing out there like doing shit that sounds like fucking encampments. Some people would sing along to music. A lot of the time, if I had a song I really liked, I would try and sing it so well that I could sound exactly like the artist singing it, which is hard. But it can be done. It just takes a lot of practice and a lot of vocal training. Because you basically have to turn your voice into theirs. And some people's vocal cords develop very differently. But we are all human, so technically you should be able to. It's just like how I always tell people what limits most people's ability to sing is actually their muscle control. People who have better muscle control can normally sing well. Because singing is muscle control. And it's complex muscle control, both from internally, like things that would normally be controlled subconsciously, you have to learn how to control them consciously. Like breathing and stuff like that. That's not good. Someone probably just got in an accident. I just saw an ambulance drive by. They didn't have their lights or anything on though because it's so late. And it's an urban... Well, not an urban. It's urban for around here anyways. Even though both sides of most roads are coated with trees, so... That's why you get a lot of wildlife here. Biodiversity. Recently, because it's summer, or early summer, we've been getting a lot of sweat bees out. I was telling Hyro about that earlier, but yeah, we have like a huge population of sweat bees nearby, and they're not just any sweat bee, they're like one of the cooler looking ones called green sweat bees, or metallic green sweat bees. I just call them emerald bees, because that's what they look like. They look like someone made a bee out of emerald gemstone. Really, really reflective bodies. Very tiny comparative to your average bumblebee or even a honeybee. Very docile in the sense that they don't attack even when provoked, unless you disturb their resting area. But I've had them crawl onto my hand off of flowers before, so they're not like a bee or a bumblebee where they're just constantly active from start to finish. The females and stuff like that can be docile. Some people label bumblebees as being aggressive, though, and I can safely say that that is nowhere near being true. We have giant bumblebees around here, and by giant I mean like they get to an inch plus long. They're huge. And these giant bumblebees, when they land on flowers, you can hear them from like 10 to 15 feet away, because they're like on the top of the flower. They're true pollinators. Honeybees aren't nearly as good at pollinators as bumblebees are, but it's hard to keep large populations of bumblebees in a small area. So people don't use them for pollinating, because honeybees have way more bees. So you have a lot more travel between flower, even though honeybees don't pollinate or actively try to pollinate a flower nearly as much as a bumblebee does. A bumblebee will literally, like, as it's collecting the pollen, just vibrate the entire flower with its body and its wings. Like I said, if you're near a bumblebee, you'll be able to hear them because they do that to pollinate the flowers. They not only do it to get the pollen off of the flower to shake it onto the male part, but they also do it if they have pollen on their own body to shake it into the flower. Because they have their own little pollen sacs on their hind legs that they actually keep the pollen they want to take back to their nest with. And then all of the pollen on their actual body is just excess pollen that they normally use for pollinating other flowers. If you search on YouTube something like bumblebee buzzing on flower, or something like that, you'll see what I mean. And then if you look up videos of like a honeybee on a flower, you'll see that the honeybee doesn't do that. Because the honeybee is more after the nectar than the actual pollination of the plant, whereas the bee only gets nectar when it is thirsty normally. It doesn't bring much extra nectar back to the nest to turn into honey. That's why you can't harvest much honey from native bees normally. You have to bring in honeybees to get any significant amount of honey from plants. Because they literally take the nectar out of the flowers, bring it back to their nest, puke it up into a cell, let the water evaporate out of it, and then that's what becomes honey. And that's why honey has the unique flavor of whatever plant the beekeepers decided to try and localize the the hive around. if you want to guarantee the health of native bee populations, a thing you can do is get a hummingbird feeder or a bee feeder that doesn't, a hummingbird feeder that doesn't have bee guards, or just some type of feeder that allows bees to get nectar. Because one of the major things that actually has caused a lot of bees to die off is the removal of so many native wildflowers from people's yards that the bees would normally use to get nectar from on their way, because their wildflowers are normally always active in some amount on the lawn, whether that be clover, dandelion, like buttercup. I'm trying to think of a couple more. There's a thing that looks like a dandelion that grows in a lot of lawns but isn't actually a dandelion, and I can't remember the name of it. It has the same exact looking flower, but its leaf structure is a lot more dense, and the flowers are like really, really fuzzy on the stems comparative to the dandelions, which are just like flat, smooth tubes. I'm sure if you Googled it, you would be able to find what I'm talking about. It's a very common wildflower that comes in a variety of colors, from reds, yellows, to oranges. It looks like a dandelion, but I mean, the actual flower structure does. Like, it has that same fluffiness and everything. But yeah, people think native bees are declining rapidly because they don't realize how many tiny bee species there actually are. And that's why things being pollinated necessarily hasn't dropped in a lot of areas, because even though certain types of bees, like certain types of bumblebees, are fading, it's actually made other types of bees flourish due to there not being as much competition. Sweat bees being one of them. Around here, we have gotten a very, very high upsurge in the amount of sweat bees. Different kinds of them, but specifically the ones that are localized here are those emerald colored ones. I see about 20 to 30 of them on our roses every single day. Ever since like a few days ago. And I was seeing a bunch of giant bumblebees today as well. Again, I say giant. They're very large in comparison to your normal size bumblebee. They're even fuzzier looking. Like, they have very, very thick fuzz on them as well. And like I said, they make a hell of a commotion when they land on a flower. Like I said, you can hear them from like 10 to 15 feet away. It sounds like someone's touching like a razor against a metal object or something like that. I'll just stand next to the roses and just watch them. Like I said, they don't really care, nor are they very intimidated by people. They only care once you start, like, crowding around them. You step on the flower that they were trying to get nectar from, or something like that. Certain types of things can piss them off, but, I mean, generally, I have never been stung by a bumblebee in my life. The only time I was stung by bees is when we had these black and yellow, or they were like a black, yellow, and orange carpenter bee that was in a hole in our yard, and me as a little kid didn't really know any better because I saw bees kept coming out of the hole, so I grabbed a stick and started to fuck with it. And the second I stuck the stick down the hole and then like pulled it back up, like 5 or 6 of them, because carpenter bee nests aren't that big, but unlike a honeybee, they can actually sting multiple times. So a bunch of them chased me all the way back to the door of the house, and some of them were even still stinging me when I got back inside of the house. But I literally fucked with their nest, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know that there was a type of bee that made a nest in a hole in the ground, and that the only way you would know that is the little tiny bee's face that's sticking out of the hole in the ground. And again, as a kid, you're gonna be like, that looks weird. What is that thing doing? Turns out it's like protecting the nest of a bunch of other ones that it all signals to attack you when it senses you disturbing it. You can look it up again if you want, like carpenter bee nest. Bumblebees also nest in the ground and nest in hollow logs and stuff like that. There's like over 2,000 species of sweat wasps or something. Or not sweat wasps, sweat bees. And they're also pollinators. A lot of them have really, really stiff bristles of hair on the back side of their body. Or their back legs. And that is what they use to collect pollen. Unlike a bumblebee or a honeybee, which uses these little sacs which are connected to their rear legs. They have like little baskets basically, and they fill the little basket full of pollen as they collect pollen. But like I said, honeybees don't do the vibratey thing that bumblebees do to a flower. Bumblebees, like, if you have a bumblebee land on a flower, that flower is like guaranteed to be pollinated. Like almost 100%. Whereas like a honeybee, it may take a honeybee visiting a flower 5 to 6 times to pollinate it. Which is why you need a lot of them. Because they're not intentionally going up to the flower to like shake the fuck out of it, because most honeybees aren't actually that big. They're pretty small comparative to a bumblebee. Or some larger carpenter bees. They can be like the entire size of your thumb with their body. Of course, they'd probably look a lot smaller if they weren't so fuzzy. But that's the one way you can actually tell the difference between a carpenter bee and a bumblebee, is a carpenter bee has no fuzz on its thorax, on its behind. Bumblebees basically have fuzzy butts. Carpenter bees, no fuzzy butt. Sweat bees normally are very much smaller, and they have normally discernible patterning that is very different from a normal bee, but still reminiscent. Some are even mistaken as yellow jackets or some type of wasp, even though they're not. And they too, just like bumblebees, like I was saying earlier, pretty much harmless for all intents and purposes. Like, they're not going to attack you or anything like that if you see them next to a flower. Then there's also the flies that have the aposematic coloring of a bee, so you have to be aware what is actually a bee and what is a fly pretending to be a bee, basically. That's an actual thing, by the way. If you didn't know, sometimes you'll see a yellow jacket and you need to pay close attention to the structure of its face. Because if it's a fly, it'll still have its little sucker thing that it uses to put, like, saliva and shit on stuff. If it's a bee, it'll have mandibles and mouth parts for pinching, like, flowers to get nectar. And, again, if it's a fly, it'll have those buzzy-looking, like, fly eyes, and they'll have that distinct fly shape with the face. But it will have the body and the color structure, and even sometimes the same wing structure as a bumblebee or a honeybee. And they look exactly alike outside of the face. And the fact that, again, once you get a little bit close up with them, the flies obviously don't have nearly as big of a body as the bee. They're more, like, they're all butt, basically. Thorax, whatever. I can't remember the parts of an insect because I'm retarded. Or would that be the abdomen? Flies are basically just a head and a body. Bee has fly, or has head, body, and butt. Like a wasp or something else. Like, they have distinct, separate parts. You didn't even charge it. Welcome to Tornado Hell. I didn't think I was gonna be living in Kansas. In the end, there are multiple twisters. Help! I need help! Emotional and physical. Help! Nugs. Right in the nuggets. Slinger Sniper, that's the only reward worth crediting. Like I always say, though, on my streams, I really do love nature. In a more, like, not necessarily like that stupid hippie way. More in, like, how diverse things can be in a very small area. And how humans have basically made so many things extinct that we probably won't even know they went extinct because they probably won't have many recoverable fossils, if any. Like, just by localization of an area and, like, overhunting or overfishing or, like, killing off a specific species of plant, because there are areas where plants can grow within a native mountain range of, like, 50 miles or something like that, and that's the only area where you can find that specific version of that plant. And, like, humans can, and probably already have, ruined many of those kinds of species without even knowing it. Just because we didn't have the scientific information at the time, and because we thought it looked like something else, we were just like, whatever. That's where all those weird, rare types of small fruits come from. Again, I'm not trying to advocate any dumb hippie bullshit either. But people really... I've got to start changing. Oh, I dodged into that. I was like, is there a person behind me? No. Why didn't you pull the switch, you dumbass? Oh my god, you're so stupid, dude. 1 out of 10. I really hate people who spend 90% of their time up there. Yep, just keep wasting our shit, dude. Cool. Yeah, we're done dealing with your bullshit. Hammer, love. Got him. Her. Got her. Tool specialist. Gonna plug the laptop in, boy. There we go. Gospel. It's like a Borderlands weapon. Malawan, to be exact. SMG, to be very specific. Is that a skunk? I'll worry about it later. What did you SOS? God damn it, that happened the same way again. Watch this. Wrecked nerds! I don't even need canteen. I ain't got time to bleed. Oh my god, I dodged with it. Son of a bitch. Shouldn't be the circle. Stop shooting, you idiots! Whatever. 1 second, I'll be right back. Sorry, sorry. Voice was clogged full of shit. I had to fucking clean up a garbage mess that was left by fucking someone outside. Sorry about that. Let me just get a little bit of spray stuff. It's no big deal though, he didn't rip it up that bad. He just got open to the coffee grounds for whatever reason. You really wanted those coffee grounds. There wasn't even anything in the trash that was attractive to an animal. It was literally like mostly cardboard and metal shit. like tin garbage. And he just went for the fucking one thing of coffee grounds. It's amazing. Well, I hope the... just coffee. It's good for the soil. Kind of accidentally helped me fertilize the soil. Because it's literally all he dug out of the thing. So bizarre. Never seen anything like that. I didn't even know they like to drink coffee. Or eat it, I guess. In that case. Eat the spent coffee grounds. Or whatever it smelled. Spent coffee grounds added to soil is sometimes what plants need. Sorry, I went out for another cigarette. I could have smoked one while I was doing that, but I was going in and out because I was trying to lift the bag into another bag. Because he literally only ripped like a hole in the side of it. There is a local black bear around here. Sorry, I keep fixing my hair. Because I was leaning over so it all fucked it up. Just bring a little bit extra fruit in there. Never hurts. Sorry for that interruption. Normally shit like that doesn't happen too often. Especially live. Like I said, I heard the skunk. I saw him. Then I smelled him. I didn't get sprayed or anything. Mostly because I know how to terrify them. Just make a loud noise from inside, like bang something near the door or something like that. That'll normally get it to run away. If they're starving though, they might be a little bit more desperate, but a lot of the time they're not starving. Might be burrowing for that bird that I buried. I buried him pretty deep though, to avoid that. They do feed on carrion. If you didn't hear about that, the other day I rescued, or, I mean you can't really call it rescued if the thing died, but my neighbor's cat was attacking this little tiny thrush. And he was just like hopping through the grass, squawking and stuff like that. So I picked him up in my toque, like I was saying. And I brought him over and he calmed down for a little bit, but then his breathing started to get pretty heavy and I think he was just injured really bad. But I buried him instead of letting their cats have it. As much as I like cats. It's not that I hate the cats. Just I'd rather not see them playing with a tiny little bird. Like it's a toy. I've rescued birds before. Multiple ducks. Because of the dam systems around here and how the current can suddenly like change really fast. They'll go into some areas and the ducks will get singled off and the mother doesn't notice and ends up leaving it behind. And it'll just paddle up to like the closest living thing that's there, and you won't see the mother anywhere around the lake, because normally if you see the mother anywhere around the lake or the river that you spot the duck at, you just leave them alone and hope the mother will come back, because if you touch it or anything like that, it's going to get your smell on it, and normally they don't like that. Most of the time they really don't like that. To the point of even attacking something. So, do be mindful of that. If you are going to rescue one, you have to pretty much take it to either a rescue shelter, if you know of like an avian rescue shelter that deals with ducks or anything like that. Local farmer as well. Duck can be good on a farm. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. They'd know how to raise it. They'd probably have bird feed. That's what I've done. And then they'll have what a mallard duck laying eggs or whatever it was. If it's a male, they'd probably try to release it. But females, you could keep those for eggs or try and release it. I mean, technically on a farm, there's nothing that says you have to with those kinds of animals. Because it just technically counts as hunting it. So you just take it during hunting season, and then you could just legally own it, as long as you have that kind of property for it. I mean, you obviously wouldn't want to do that in a public area. Because they can get quite noisy. Any type of avian species can get very noisy. They're a lot to manage. But they're also relatively easy to manage if you can deal with that one caveat. Why did I do this? I don't know. I've mentioned it many a time, so I've always found it weird how people nowadays would rather look at pictures of wildlife on their phone instead of realizing that they live near really, really cool stuff. Like the amount of people, like for example, Coyote Peterson's channel, or Brave Wilderness I should say, is a good channel not because it showcases tropical life, but because that channel got started on showcasing things that literally were in basically an area where anyone could have seen that sort of stuff. But people were interested in it. And I'm not necessarily saying that's bad. Like, it's great on him for exposing people to that kind of stuff, because obviously you wouldn't want to go out hunting for, like, snapping turtles. However, in the same limelight, it's like, people can see that stuff, man. Like, the tropical stuff is the cool stuff that you'd want to see, because it's like, that's hard to go and see unless you got a lot of money. But in the case of, like, just knowing your own ecosystem, like those tiny little green sweat bees that I was talking about. Those things look like they're tropical, but they live in areas that aren't. And when I always talk to people about those kinds of things and then I show them, they're always like, I never even knew that existed around here. And it's like, I could go outside and show you where to look and see one. Like, if you think that's so special or so rare. It's like the rare kind of things are like things that live on like Madagascar. I mean, it's still great. Again, I love seeing those kinds of things because reading something online about it really doesn't give you a good example of how to actually properly examine something. I'd love to get into that field, but I honestly have no idea where to start or what people to contact on how to like get into that field of researching that kind of stuff. I'm normally pretty good at observing and understanding. Sure. Let's give that a try. Hey, listen, idiot. Actually, no, that's fine. Actually, sure. Always gotta change stuff. I'm never happy. Yay, the monster's gonna attack me more. You got my dick and my Uranus. The fuck was that? I instantly got thrown off. Oh my fucking god. The range on that is just fucking absurd, man. Didn't even last 3 minutes. This just goes to show how disproportionately difficult Arch-Tempered Valhazak is to this thing. This thing is like fucking 30 times more difficult than him. I could like talk about different types of insects while fighting Arch-Tempered Valhazak. I have to like focus every ounce of energy only to still get fucked over by the fucking game. And it's stupid bullshit. It's like, why put fire resistance on your gear if it does almost nothing? The only thing it does is prevent you from getting set on fire. It doesn't actually decrease the damage you take. So garbage. Are you supposed to have fun fighting this boss? Because it's not fun. It's too fast, it moves too much. When it flies, you can't hit it, you can't flash it out of the air. It can insta-kill you with some dumbass fucking stupid flying bullshit. It's just not fun. It's the definition of a not fun boss fight. Because it takes away half of the mechanics that 90% of the other game has. Well, let's go again. Let's die for another time. Because armor means nothing. Having 541 defense will mean fucking fuck all when this monster hits me. Arch-Tempered Valhazak? Nah, he nicks me compared to this fucking monster. I can't wait until they release an Arch-Tempered version of this fucking thing. Is it gonna instantly kick me off again? No? Cool. Because I didn't press the X button. I'm pretty sure my thumb was not anywhere near close to that, because you press triangle to stab. And if you play it back, I definitely was trying to stab. Yeah, shoved me off again. Yeah, it just automatically takes you off of her. That's kind of dumb. And that attack's even more stupid. It's like the fucking Nergigante dive, where no matter what you do, it always hits you. You could be far away from her, you could be close to her, you could be fucking anywhere on the map, and it doesn't matter. You're getting hit by it. Guaranteed. Honestly, what's the point of Divine Blessing if it almost never activates? If it would go the actual direction I pointed my fucking character in, it would be a miracle. Oh my god, it just moves around so much. It's just too fast. Like, honestly, what in the actual fuck were they thinking? This is just a Dark Souls scenario, where it's just like, it's impossible to do anything if you don't follow the exact rhythm of the fight perfectly from square A. You just might as well quit, because you can't do anything. You can't sharpen your weapon unless you have speed sharpening. You can't drink a potion unless you have speed eating. You can't take damage unless you have defense boost, divine blessing, defense on your armor, defense modification, and all this dumbass shit to just not take damage and die in 2 fucking hits. Oh yeah, we got a great idea. Let's remove all the weak points from this boss, and then make the boss spam stupid fucking shitty bullshit moves the entire fight. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Do 3 animations before you've completed a single fucking one. And I wish it was an exaggeration, but it's not. My roll doesn't matter, even though I was at the very start of my rolling animation, so I don't know where else iframes would be. Iframes are so fucking inconsistent if you don't have evade window level 5. Oh, getting hit again, because you can't fucking avoid it. How many times do I need to use a fucking potion to use a fucking potion? Apparently 60,000 fucking times. so bullshit. When the sword and shield has trouble completing animations against a boss, you know you've just fucked up. You've just fucked up. When people are doing 90% hammer cheese as the only way to speed kill your bosses because they're so inherently bullshit, you should learn how to design your fucking bosses better. Oh wait, you can't because you're crapcom. You don't have brains. You just have the ability to recycle the same shit and then somehow make it worse when you introduce it in the new game. And take away half of the things that people knew about it, so everything that they thought that was going to be about it doesn't matter. Pressed R2. Okay. I couldn't even recover from my fucking enemy. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Rewards down the drain. Because there's no way to fucking beat this boss consistently without just outright cheesing it with some bullshit. Because it just does so much fucking damage to you no matter what you do. So much damage, and it's so fucking fast, so you can't avoid anything, you can't do anything, nothing you do matters. It's just, again, it's not even fun. You can't even use your game mechanics. You can't hit it in the face, it has no weak points. It's just dumb. It's just fucking dumb. I don't know who the hell decided that that was a fucking great design. But I want him to not be on the Monster Hunter team anymore. It's not even that it pushes the limits of what's possible to kill. It's just annoying. This is just bullshit. It's you having to sit there and play passive for 90% of the fucking fight only to realize that that doesn't matter either because it'll just fucking two-shot you. If you don't run stun resistance or anything like that. Again, this is harder than Arch-Tempered Valhazak. Just doing this one mission. I can't survive. I can't avoid anything. It's impossible with no evade extender or anything like that. It's literally impossible. The game is not designed well. How that didn't hit me, I don't know. Just some fucking... Oh, that hit me. Get hit by a little fucking nub because they need to balance the game to make the monster harder. Does this feel like legit difficulty? Does making a monster just have a attack that is literally faster than anything the player can fucking do? So fun. Oh, and I'm stunned. You don't have windproof. Oh, you get knocked over because you don't have flinch free. Oh, and now it's gonna run away. Now it's gonna do its ability where it gets to do the supernova if you don't attack it with enough Elder Seal quick enough. Yeah, and we're gonna not... Nitro toads, don't even stagger it, because that's how that works. It's not even larger than Uragon, but somehow it's more resistant to something like that, because that makes fucking sense. Yeah, just kill me. Just get it over with. Just get it over with. Yeah. Garbage. I love how they don't even program them to, like, ignore or do anything different. They just sit there and growl infinitely on the same loop, just to show how expert their programming is. Sure, let's just get rid of all of these investigations. I'm not gonna beat any of them. Just kill me already. Hey, just kill me. Cool. Could just delete them, but this is a more interesting way to get rid of your investigations. This is called making a point. I want to see someone do this without taking any damage. Alright, it's not possible. Not without complete abuse of some bullshit tactic, which will probably get patched out. I'm just not even gonna waste healing items or anything like that. I'll waste the fucking drugs, because I never use them anyway, so what's the fucking difference? What's the difference of if I use them or not, if I never use them anyways? Doesn't make a fucking difference. You'll still die just as fast. Such a fun boss fight. Wow. Totally makes me feel rewarded for playing this game for a long ass time. A boss that has every single mechanic turned off for it. So fun. I can't wait until they release the Arch-Tempered. At that point, I'm just gonna rely on getting 3 other people who are just fucking aliens and shouldn't even be allowed to play video games. If you're good enough to consistently beat this thing, you're not a human. Granted, I gave up trying a couple tries ago, because it's gotten to the point where the game wants to just fuck me over, so I'm done. I'm done giving it the time of day. If it wants to fuck me over, fine, I'll just let it kill me. I don't even care. I've played actual hard video games, and this game is just a bunch of tedious bullshit to try and get fucking items that the game will never give you, so... I've been through way worse tedium. Racing games require actual skill. This requires a bunch of fucking bullshit RNG to go your way. Required more skill than this because you actually had to learn nuances of things and had to actually learn controls that benefited you in combat and not controls that bit you in the ass because, oh cool, you learn how to do all of this cool combo shit. None of it's ever gonna matter because you're never gonna be able to fucking do it. What am I supposed to do? It hits so much. I can't fucking get 2 seconds. Oh, and of course it falls over when I walk into the other fucking room. Due to fucking tiny palico damage. Fucking bullshit. Oh yeah, didn't get hit because this game is fucking not totally stupid. just gonna do the super attack, but whatever. I love how you bounce with blue sharpness, so a good portion of the weapons in the game can't even attack its body at all. A good portion of them. If you don't have a certain number of a skill to get a certain number of arbitrary weapon sharpness, which has nothing to do with the actual look or model of the weapon being either sharp or dull. Because it's just more bullshit that they add to the bullshit to try and give it reasoning, but it's just, in the end, lazily slopped together bullshit with a bunch of armor sets that don't even fucking synergize well with anything, because they're too lazy to actually make stuff that would be good or usable. Outside of making some shitty joke arena quest, which isn't even fun to play after the fucking 12th time you've done it. Because it's just the same fucking bullshit, because they only put a couple good loadouts for actually doing something fast. I tried to dodge and time it, dude, but hitboxes last so long, and they're so horse shit, that you have to just get out of the way of them in this game. Oh my god, you can't avoid that shit. It's so bullshit. Give me a fucking working dodge button, and this boss wouldn't fucking touch me. But nothing fucking works in this game. Frames aren't consistent, meaning dodge timing aren't consistent, meaning nothing is fucking consistent. Anytime you think you have the timing down for something, the game drops 3 frames. And you lose whatever fucking timing you knew. So fucking garbage. I'm done. I'm done. I mean that as in with the stream too. I'm just fucking done. Fuck it. I'm fucking done. I'll see everyone next time.